So greetings. Now, as part of our 10,000 subscriber celebration, today we're going to unbox something which I bought back in 2023 and so far I have never opened up. Now, as you can see here on this big old stump from an oak tree next to my favourite Viking sword, I have two items. Can you guess what it is? And there's another one. But I never opened these up, I never unboxed them. At the time when I bought these items, and they came from a company called Celtic Web Merchant, who I'd like to give a big shout out to, because I think they do some really nice stuff. If you're looking for a good combat blade or a sharp sword, they really are good company. And I bought these items and they messed up on the delivery, and they actually refunded my money but still sent me the item, which was about £200 worth. And I thought to myself, well, that's really nice of them. Now here we can see the first bit, which is a scabbard. It's not a sheath because it's not flexible, and has a lovely red colour leather to it. And the reason why I never opened these up is because I was saving them for a rainy day. But I got to the point now where I want to start using them on camera, where I could portray a early Anglo-Saxon or even a Romano-British soldier, because this is Romano-British, but you can also get away with very early Saxon. And so these have been sitting in my house for a long time, for 2 years nearly, waiting to be opened up on camera. So part of the celebrations of 10,000 subscribers, and I just want to say thank you to all the lovely subscribers who have got us there. And the next stage we're going to get to is 100,000. Let's hope it's not going to take 8 more years. I mean, if we could do it in 2 years, that'd be fantastic, but we'll see. But how long ever it takes, we're going to enjoy the journey. We're going to open these up. So here we are, is a nice scabbard. And as I often told people, the difference between a scabbard and a sheath, if this was a sheath, I would be able to bend it, but I can't because it's solid. It has a wooden backing underneath, and also has a very nice wooden mount. You could mount it on your bolt, but I'll probably make a baldric for this so that I can have it on a baldric system hanging off my shoulder, because I think that'll be better and reduce the risk of damaging this over time. So the first thing we need to do in this video is make sure I'm recording. Yes. So the first thing I'm going to do, I've got a nice sharp C-axe, and on the bottom shape, on the top mounting, it's got a bit of cellophane. So we're going to very carefully, with my knife, which used to be an old C-axe, or a Langsax actually, take this off. I must say, that is really nice how you got the pressed out little dots. So let's just put that rubbish down there, and I will pick it up later on. I'm going to do the same with this little mounting. And I've been wanting to get these out for a long time to use them on camera. So let's just unwrap this. And what I like about this, it's got three little like little spears of metal at the bottom, which is quite unique and different. So that's that. And I must say, that's quite nice. It's well made. The leather smells nice, and I like how it's been stitched up. That's been really nicely done, that has. So that's the first bit. We're now going to grab this one, and I think we're going to work on the handle first of all, but being careful not to damage it. What I don't want is to damage the handle. Now that's quite different. I thought that would be metal, but it's not. It's got a wooden end rather than a metal one. So I wasn't aware of that. So I'm going to have to do a little bit more work to release this bit of material, because whenever you buy a sword from abroad, and this I think came from Holland or Belgium, because I thought they was based in Ireland, but they're not. With a name like Celtic Red Merchant, you kind of think, well, they're going to be an Irish company, but so you have to fill in customs forms and pay a custom duty. Just bear with me, I'm trying to concentrate, but I don't want to damage what I got underneath here. I could take this off and show you the blade. It is a sharp sword, it's not a blunt one. But it needs a bit more work. And I can smell the oil. Perhaps I should have sharpened my sea axe. So yes, I hope you're having a good day so far. If you've been part of the journey for the last 8-9 years, so congratulations for hanging about this long on the channel. You guys are awesome. And if you're new to the channel, you just subscribe, you're awesome too. We do have a very nice audience and fan base at Northworthy. I'd like to get a copy of this sword, but a blunt version for combat. But it was on offer at the time, so it was only around about, I think, £100, which I thought was a really good buy. And at the same time I bought the Germanic sea axe, which you've seen on camera. So I'm not sure whether I think I did unbox that on camera. So now we're getting there. I think if I pull this off there, pull that, and there we go. So there we have a very nice early sword for the romano-british, and it's got a lovely fitting handle. Of course it's a sharp sword. Let's have a close-up of the handle. I thought this was metal originally when I brought it, so I'm surprised to see it's wood, but I'm still very happy with it. And of course the one thing you never do is touch the blade with your fingers, so thankfully it's not too sharp, and I won't need to sharpen it either. But let's try it in its scabbard. It'll be the first time it's actually gone in. So there you go. What do you think of that? I think that is lovely. It's a very nice tight fit as well. It looks like it's got a little bit of rubber there to give it a tight fitting. Because what you're not getting is that Hollywood sound when you put a sword out, like in the Hollywood movies, where you get a sound out of it. So yes, that's the first one. And slowly what I'm going to do is develop a romano-british impression, because what I'm wearing we class as an impression. So my current impression is of a Viking. Of course, if I take these off and put a cross on, or some other necklace, then you could say I'm a Saxon, but I'll be a Saxon of high class, very much like I am a Viking of high class. So yeah, I think that's really nice, and I'm really glad actually, for the first time, we've got it out, so I can start wearing it on my kit. In fact, let's put it on my bolt system and try it on. Just bear with me, it's never easy when you want a servant to come and help you. So we're going to get the bolt, we're going to carefully feed it through. And then, sorry for the silence there, because I'm concentrating. When you put in a long bolt on, and you've got a bolt which is too long, you've got to try to keep your hold of it here, but at the same time feed it through your buckle. So when you got a bolt, you have your hand tight here, and you have your hand or your finger there, so that I can feed it through. And thusly what's going to happen, I won't drop the sword on the floor, and then now you can see it's tight, and I can put the belt on and fasten it up. And for the first time on camera, I'm wearing this sword, and I must say I rather like it. I love the redness because it really stands out, and that must be the nicest scabbard I've got. Well, of course over time it will get worn, it will get scarred, but of course if I'm doing a battle reenactment I won't be taking this into battle. It is for display only. So we now come to the next item, which is this one, and it's got a bit of German on it. Mittelalterliche Einhandel mit Schweben noch Staller. I've no idea what that means. So can you guess what this is? And it's got a code, K84. Now this was an offer as well. This was, I think, round about £70, if I recall. So again, we're going to get this sharp knife, and hopefully without damaging the item, we'll try to get in. And what you don't want is to cut the handle, which has probably got leather on. So being extra careful, and also I don't want to cut my hand either. And oh look, you can see the pointy end. It's another sharp sword. So again, for display only. I don't have one in this style. And it's got a good amount of wrapping around it. So I hope you're enjoying this video so far. Right, so there's the blade. It's quite a narrow blade. Now this has a free section rather than a concave fuller. And I was talking about this in one of the videos I put out the other day. Talking about the different names for fullers. You could call it a V-curve. It's got a little bit of stringiness to it, a bit of white. So I'm going to have to go back to the knife. Now there is one downside about this sword, which I'll tell you in a minute. But again, I don't have this style of sword in my collection, so now that I've got it out and I can use it, we can talk about it on camera, and then make more videos. I should have sharpened this first, never mind. It's not got the best ring to it, but then again, a sharp sword doesn't need to be heat treated like a combat blade does, like this one here. Just make sure we're still recording. Yes. Oh, there we go. So that's the next one. This is a Anglo-Norman sword with the typical round pommel, and you could use it double-handed or single-handed, and I must say that's quite nice. I like that. The handle's nicely done. But it reminds me of a falchion I've got, which I don't often get out on camera, and I don't have many blades with a feast section rather than a typical fuller or blood groove. So there we go. Because this one doesn't have a sheath or scabbard, so that's going to be a project to make. And again, you can tell it's sharp because it's got a point, but it's not sharp enough so you can cut your hand on it. It's still blunt, but it's got a slight edge. And I'm sure you agree, that is a nice bit of kit. I mean, it's quite long. Let's compare it to my Viking sword. You can see it's just probably about 1.5 inches longer. Of course, that was a Binzi, and this one's probably made in India or China or maybe Pakistan, and they do make some good bits of kit. Of course, this will be threaded on, so unlike this one where it goes through and be knocked over, this will be threaded on. So I imagine you could probably unthread it and take it apart if you wanted to. Not that I'm going to. And it's got a straight cross guard rather than a concurved one. So with this, I better start building up a Anglo-Norman kit to look and dress as a Norman on camera. Unlike this one, this is 5th and 6th century, so much earlier than this one, and also much earlier than this blade. But again, it will give me a starter to start a Romano-British or early Saxon impression. And again, I better to get myself some full mail and a mail hauberk and maybe some mail leggings, preferably riveted, and dress as a Norman. And again, you never touch the blade with your hand because your hands are greasy, so if I did that, I'm going to leave fingerprints, and then they're very difficult to get off. So back in the day, if you got a handle of a blade, you do it this way. You'll present it, put it on your sleeve and present it over. And in the modern terms, we just hold it by the edge because most swords are blunt. And this doesn't have a sharp edge. I could put a sharp edge on it if I wanted to, but I don't fundamentally see the point. And yeah, I could do some damage. I hope you've enjoyed this video for 10,000 subs. There'll be a few more videos to celebrate this milestone on the channel. This should be by the end of this year, I think. Well, let me know what you think. This is your favourite sword out of these two. Let's pull this one out. That's my favourite one over this one. I don't know, I was thinking the other day, this does have a rivet at the end where it's riveted on, so that's slightly better made than this one. But often with this style of pommel, there would have been, you know, there'd be a screw and it will be screwed on, and then often there'll be a hole where it'll be riveted over, which is the better method. But I was thinking about the backsword the other day, and how impractical it is. It's a bit of a bonus talk at the end. And I was watching a TV series from the 90s called Farscape, and there's this big alien creature on the ship, and he has a backsword. But what he has a little loop on his bolt here, so he can pull his sword down. And I think that's probably the best method I've seen so far of having a sword on your back. But of course, from our point of view, it's not very practical and we don't have it. So let's just pose for the thumbnail. We'll do it with probably both swords. Then a lot of people say, well, can you own a sword in the UK? Well, yes, you can. If you're a collector and it's in your house, you can own a sword. Some swords you're not allowed, like katanas now and ninja swords. You're not allowed swords with serrated edges. So none of these zombie blades, but you can own historical swords like this. Just don't take them out in public, unless you're a re-enactor and you're in a group and at an event. But again, we don't use these on the battlefield because they're sharp. So if you're new to the channel, please do think about subscribing, and we'll see you in the next video. As I put my sword away. That's lovely, that is. That's such a lovely push feeling. I've got to tidy up now.